Hello, new and faithful listeners, and welcome to Remainders, the podcast dedicated to exploring the wonder and joy that is the movies. Here I am, clearly in chiaroscuro, but we cover the old, the new, the remembered, and the ones that are sometimes forgotten. As we record this episode, it is November 12th, 2025. Today, Patrick and I are traveling all the way back to 1950 to smoke cigarettes, drink whiskey, and punch out anyone who gets in our way. Today, we're covering Nicholas Ray's celebrated noir, In a Lonely Place, starring two of the genre's biggest stars, Humphrey Bogart and Gloria Grahame. Dixon Steele, played by Bogart, is a hard-ass, take no bullshit, nearly washed-up Hollywood screenwriter looking to make some quick dough by adapting a book into a screenplay. So rather than read the book himself, he has Mildred, a girl at a bar, come home with him and tell him about the book while he changes into a robe and pours himself a drink. You gotta love a movie where cutting corners turns into murder. But that's exactly what happens. The audience is left to wonder if Dixon killed the young Mildred because earlier in the film, we see him nearly stop traffic to kick a guy's ass in the street. We learn pretty quickly that Dix has zero tolerance for bullshit. Of course, his blonde bombshell neighbor gets involved by being too nosy and way too willing to get involved with a potential murderer. She falls in love with Dix and vice versa, but the relationship is played by the classic, is this dude a killer vibe? A production that brought Nicholas Ray together for a second time with Bogart and his on the rocks wife, Gloria Grahame. In a Lonely Place is absolutely filled with drama on screen and off screen. Patrick, I was wondering if you were born when you kissed me, you died when you left me, or if you lived a few weeks while you loved me. And you know what? I can't wait to discuss this film and find out if you even liked me for picking this film today.
Put you on a pedestal with that notorious line that they have from this movie, which I had heard that line and I had no idea that it was from this fantastic noir from the 50s. So
isn't that great? It's such a classic line that you hear all the time, but like, say if you haven't seen the film, you still know the line. I love that shit.
To be honest, the thing I kind of knew the line was from an early episode of Frasier. And I only saw it. I didn't recognize it while watching the movie, but I saw it in the Wikipedia notes, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that book. That's a line from this movie." Nice.
I forget that you're like a huge Frasier fan. That's right.
I love Frasier. The first couple seasons of Frasier, I will rewatch that until the day I die for sure. But I digress. This was a fucking fantastic movie. You gave me a choice, and I was very excited to leave behind all these creature features we've been watching for something a little bit more vintage and noirish,
like a left turn for sure. Yeah,
that's what we do best here. So, I was always excited to talk about Bogart. I feel like my appreciation of Bogart is always high, but like a lot of his movies, I really have not rewatched a ton as an adult, and this one I had never seen. Gloria Grahame, whom I really only kind of discovered because of The Big Heat. Is that the one that we watched where she has her face?
Yeah, the coffee.
Pet Seven. Yeah. She's fucking great in that movie. And so I was excited to watch the two of them in this movie. And unexpectedly, it sounds like their performances are kind of the things that have kept this movie on the spotlight for popular noirs since then. Based on the description, I was expecting, I guess, more of a straightforward, like, whodunit, but it's not that at all. It's like an existential love story. So I was like pleasantly surprised that it turned into like two people who are kind of fucked up who struggle to find love with each other. She likes the bad boy. He is the self-destructive bad boy. And it's just watching that play out. I'm sure you have much more to extrapolate on that, but that was my first impression of it. So,
yeah. So never seen In a Lonely Place before then. Patrick mentioned that I gave him 3 movies to choose. It's weird because we just got off of doing an awesome 1950s films that are remade in the 1980s, and it was our all month of October. We did that as a trifecta. We did The Blob, we did The Thing, and then we also did The Fly. And so, yeah, like these creature features, kind of body horror, like total change. And I was like, I don't know what to pick after that. It was really hard for me to be like, I kind of wanted to stay in that lane almost because I had so much fun covering those. But like, I saw that I think it's like dark noir is what it's called or something that Criterion has curated. And Gloria Grahame and Bogart are both they're one of like I mentioned at the top, like the genre's like big names, you know.
Mm.
Um
Oh yeah.
they I've seen a bunch with Gloria Grahame in it and Bogart as well, but this one always stuck with me because you know as the audience you don't really know the whole time like it did he kill this woman, you know, you're kind of on
It's
the
really unclear,
yeah.
like in the best possible way. Like, yeah, as
Well,
they're
sometimes too, like that's what's driving the story for the audience because you're kind of like, yeah, some of it doesn't make you like love the character, but you're kind of like, but like, you know, at when you find, well, spoiler alert, when you find out he didn't kill anybody, it's too late. You know, like he already is this
it's the
sort of
75th anniversary of the movie, so we can spoil it for
oh,
sure.
okay,
So,
yeah. Well, you could say as that Ludwig Wainwright song, like he is the self-destructive
dude,
fool,
I
you know?
totally thought about that song at the end of this movie, the one that you
Can you
recommended.
imagine if it started playing at the end? It would be perfect.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, totally. You know, so it's kind of like that's the fun of it for the audience. And this movie's short; it's an hour and a half. So you know, it's like it's over before it began, and it's really carried by the performances. Gloria Grahame, I think, at her best, and most people, you know, don't know her as such a like champion here of the film noirs. You know, a lot of people just know her from It's a Wonderful Life, which clearly she's amazing in. But yet, you know, once you kind of get to know her and you start to unravel all the films that she's in, I said this on when we covered The Big Heat, and I can't remember the name of it, but I saw her in a film where it's probably my favorite film of hers, and I can't even remember the name of it. It's like her and the other guy. I'll remember it as we go through the through the episode, but she is just so good as this blonde bombshell, as you mentioned in The Big Heat. She's so good in that, and she's just fantastic in this. Now this film is like, you know, Nicholas Ray directing, who most people know for directing Rebel Without a Cause, and
Hmm.
he was involved with Gloria Grahame, and their relationship was on the rocks at the time, and they were really careful about how they got it. They didn't, nobody wanted to get fired, you know, they wanted to make this picture, but it's also a picture about like sort of like Hollywood and like what happens when you're like washed up in Hollywood, right? Because he's a
Yeah.
screenwriter who is looking for a job and he wants to make a good fit. Like most of the time when you have these like films, you know, you there's like quality over quantity or a paycheck, really. It's like quality over a paycheck. And he's like taking this job kind of reluctantly. He doesn't want to make trash, but he also wants to eat, you know?
Nicholas Ray, you're talking.
Yeah, no. Well, that's kind of what the
Bogart.
story. Yeah, that's kind of
Oh,
what
I'm
the story
sorry.
is about.
Because there is a lot of meta stuff. I mean, the book that it's based on.
Good point.
Yeah, so it's like it's about a writer, so that's there is kind of a meta tinge to this. So that's why I thought you were going with that. But yeah, I did see that Nicholas Ray was married to Gloria Grahame at the time, and they separated while filming, and it was in his contract. Graham was forbidden to, quote, nag, cajole, tease, or in any other way feminine fashion seek to distract or influence him while he was working.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah, that like no fucking way does that happen today. Like no way does that happen today. But
I
also
was cracking up. I love that being in the contract. Was it Crossfire, by the way, sticking on Gloria Grahame? Is that the movie that you were referring to?
Who's the lead?
Was that Mitchum?
No.
No. Okay. Maybe we talked about that while we were covering Mitchum.
There's another film where like it's like a train. It's like a train comes through town.
I remember you talking about this, and yeah, we figured it out. But yeah, I'm just looking at her Letterboxd profile right now, and
gotcha.
Odds Against Tomorrow.
If you told me the lead, I would know.
Robert Ryan, Peter Young.
No.
Robert Young.
Nope.
The Greatest Show on Earth. Oklahoma. The Bad and the Beautiful.
No. Again, I need to know the leading man. That's so stupid. I can't remember it. It's not a big deal. I mean, it is such a great movie, and I need to watch it again. Clearly, but she's incredible in that film. Gosh,
that's all right. We got all day.
The
man.
lead is the lead in Gilda, if that makes sense. I forget his name now. What for some reason?
That's not my guy. from The Big Heat?
Yeah. Yes.
Glenn Ford.
Yes. Glenn Ford. It's another movie with Glenn Ford and Gloria Grahame. So, if you're listening to this right now, I apologize. This is so unprofessional.
Human Desire.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
That's Fritz Lang.
Oh yeah. So when Criterion did the Fritz Lang collection,
Yeah,
that was
nice.
in there.
Hell
Fantastic film. You got to see it. Maybe we'll cover it on here. But regardless, like Gloria Grahame also had a film with Annette Bening that was made about her life, and it was called like. And I talked about this again on The Big Heat. I never saw it. I've always wanted to see it. It's about her life, kind of at the end of her life, and she dies. It's like something about movie stars just don't die, and like Venice.
Wait, Annette Bening was playing her like in a biography?
Yes, like an older version of her.
Gotcha.
And I've never seen the film. I've always been so curious to see it. And I'm like super interested in her life. And this is an interesting time to talk about it because Patrick is not a big fan of
don't put words in my mouth.
But doesn't need to know anything about, an actor or actress.
Oh, I thought you were going in a different direction.
No. But you just like you're clearly classically, don't need to know much about their personal lives to enjoy
their artistic lives. I love, but yes, personal lives I find very boring. And for celebrities,
this is okay. Like you said, 75th anniversary, and we're talking about these actors and there's so much of them intertwined in it. Maybe as time goes by, it's okay to kind of explore their personal lives because Gloria Grahame was not, like she has some issues coming up very soon after this film is put out by getting together with Nicholas Ray's son. So we're not going to get into all of that on this podcast, but that's plagued her
what
career.
Well, I was gonna say this whole movie I'm watching her and she's like she clearly just wants the bad boy, which this movie is. Like he's tagged for murder, wanted for murder, and that's the second she's like in love with him. So she's obviously just falling for the bad boy. And so yeah, that sounds like a bananas real life story.
Well, and I think a lot of people look at this too as like Bogart was kind of like this guy, like in his life, real life, he was kind of like had this
a little self-destructive. Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's why this has grown so much over the years. Like people love this film now, but I don't know.
The story around it. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know if it was necessarily huge at the time, but like, and as I mentioned, Nicholas Ray, have you ever seen what Nicholas Ray looks like?
I mean, I've seen pictures on like, IMDb.
Yeah. You see him with the eye patch. He looks like a fucking pirate walking around. Like he was like an old guy from like that era.
Yeah.
He had worked in like the really, really good old Hollywood days, you know what I mean? And then like later on in life, he's just like this like kind of old pirate. Like he has a connection to Jim Jarmusch. Jim Jarmusch worked with Nicholas Ray and learned a lot with him.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of like deep story there. I think Nicholas Ray, if I'm not mistaken, and what's her name? I think it was. Well, let's keep going on the story here. I'll figure it out.
I like watching your brain unfold with this trivia.
Well, there's just so much that over time, like, I take in about the movies and then I kind of forget what's right and what's wrong. So I always want to fact check it for our listeners so I don't look like an asshole. But anyway, back to the story of the film. We've got Bogart here being like super Bogart, kicking people's asses, drinking too much. He's looking great.
There's a reason why he was a fucking movie star. And every time I see one of his movies, I'm like, it makes sense. So
I remember in a film class that I had, they were like, Bogart is like classically known as like one of the biggest Hollywood actors of all time. But they're kind of like, he wasn't like the classically like good looking leading man, like a Clark Gable or something like that. Like he was a little off. And also with him, like he wore a toupee, and if you ever look at pictures of Bogart without his toupee,
there's a couple scenes where I kind of almost did kind of tell. I was like, that looks a little plastered on. So which is all good, but.
And I mean, his career wasn't super long. Of course, he passed away pretty early, but yeah, he's great in this film. And he's so good at playing this role of this guy who's just like, yeah, you fuck with me, I'm going to punch you out and I don't give a shit. Like we'll talk about it, but there's a scene where he almost like takes a huge boulder and crushes the dude on the side of the road, you know. And there's another film that kind of plays the same angle where it makes the audience like, is this guy a murderer or not? And that's Suspicion by Hitchcock, you know, where we got uh um God, what am I Cary Grant, you know, and you're like, did he kill this person? It's such a great storyline to go through the whole time. And Gloria Grahame being his like neighbor, it's also kind of relatable. It's like, oh, I can kind of peek in, like there's some voyeurism here happening where she can kind of see what he's doing, you know, but she wants to stick up for him because he's like a celebrity type in the building. And yeah, that kind of ends up being like her downfall. She goes fucking nuts because she kind of can't get out of it, you know.
It's not a criticism of the film, but I'm just thinking out loud. It would have been really cool if you actually never find out whether or not he killed the guy.
Well, that's kind of Suspicion, right? Like you don't know in Suspicion.
Is it? It's been a long time since I see Suspicion.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too, but I'm almost 100% positive that at the end of the film, like you don't know.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because this one, and I was reading the ending was apparently like far more like wrapped up, like so we can like jump around, but like the original ending was that he kills Gloria Grahame. The cops come in, tell him that he was not the murderer, that he was cleared for that, but then it's arrested for killing her. Whereas this one is far more open ended, and that sounded like that was Nicholas Ray's intention. Mm-hmm. And just in going in that direction, I like almost feel like it would have been really cool. Again, not criticizing, but like I love more open ending, the better for me. That's why I love this ending very much so. And so just even taking it one step further, if you actually never found out, because that just lets you re-examine every instance of rage that he has throughout the whole movie. It's like, is he or is he not capable of it? So totally. you find out
so great.
You find out that he wasn't the murderer of the original girl, but like it lets you re-examine every overreaction that he has in the movie. So
yeah, and like you said, it like having a choice like that I did read that as well, that there was a different ending, and that like I guess it's kind of debated like how much Nicholas Ray rewrote or whatever based on the screenplay that was originally wrote. Some people say that it was originally like intact just the way it was, or then there's some facts out there that say, oh, Nicholas Ray rewrote even like the day of that they were filming different scenes. But one thing that isn't debated is the ending, and that it was supposed to be different, and then at some point they changed it around. And again, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I know you're a fan of the open-endedness of films, or sort of sometimes not needing to like have some sort of resolve at the end of a film.
That's the shit I thrive on for sure. So
yeah,
I love it. And yeah, this one is perfectly ambiguous. But again, it's not even so much about the mystery. Like I said, it's about the existential love drama between the two of them, and how two people are kind of shitty, just kind of get together and inevitably are not going to end up with each other. Like I said, she likes the bad boy. He's the self-destructive one, going throughout and overreacting to everything. Just kind of like an almost inevitable demise. And you kind of watch that play out, and it's fucking gorgeous. I think, especially for being 1950, it's like, this is a pretty bleak movie, a bleak ending for the time. I feel like, you know, especially the 50s when everything's like, was like, so like, you know, give it a happy ending because the studio says it'll make it more money, you know? So,
well, post World War II, you know, yeah, like you would think 1950s, that's a pretty good year. People are booming, you know, and the idea that, I didn't know, and I hadn't really thought about this until I read it, getting ready for this and just doing a little research, that this was like sort of in a little part of Hollywood where they did talk about, like you said, it's a little meta, talking about themselves, and sort of like the dangers of getting involved in a Hollywood life, you know, and the things that can happen to you, and it's not all glamorous. And the article that I was reading, probably the Wikipedia, was talking about Sunset Boulevard being in that sort of stack of films that were sort of imploding on itself, which makes total sense. I mean, that film is so legendary, and you have an aging star, right, that is, you know, not bankable anymore. It's not she's not getting any jobs, and drives her fucking nuts and ends up killing somebody because of it, basically. But this movie too, you have this guy that's sort of like he's already volatile, he's already sort of like a hothead, and then you put it on there that he hasn't had a hit since before the war.
I'd be crazy if there was just a random scene of him meditating, trying to get everything under control, but failing.
Well, that's when they remake it. When they remake it in 2025, they'll have that scene in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I picture him taking a polar plunge to try to calm down. So I can see him doing that character. So,
or joining TikTok.
Well, that's not going to help his fucking mental health at all. So
that's true.
That's
true. Did you feel bad for Gloria Grahame at all in this film? Did you feel like she got herself in way too deep? That's kind of how I feel about it. But I wondered, like, do you think that she's not a salvageable character that way, or is she just kind of shitty?
It's pretty on the line. Like, never, she doesn't like toe into any one direction. She kind of gets into it. Like I said, she found out he was wanted for murder, and that's what turned her on. So
yeah, no, exactly.
Women like the bad boys. You just gotta accept that. That's real life. And yeah, she ends up getting into a situation that she's kind of a quick switch. I was a little taken aback on how quickly she went, because they go to the beach. They have that beach scene where it looks like an H-bomb went off. That's just like the 50s. The other couple, you mean? With the other couple, but just the way movies look back then. It's like, it looks like it's like during the day, but it looks like it's in the middle of the night. It just looks like
that's got to be a set, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the 50s filmmaking. It just looks like they're on the beach during the day, but an H-bomb just went off. So just the way the film looks. So they go to that. They get into a fight because she ended up getting questioned. And then they have that drive home with that great scene. I always love when a character lights 2 cigarettes and then gives one to another person. That's every time that happens in film, I'm like, that's fucking beautiful. I love it. And they have that famous line, and then it's just pretty quickly. By the time she gets home, she's like, I need to leave this man. Even though they still have that discussion about getting married, and she's just like feeling trapped immediately. So it is a pretty short movie, so it does progress pretty quickly into that, which is, I had no problem with that, but she definitely switched from hot and heavy to like, get me the fuck away from this guy pretty quick.
Trying to drop that a little bit, where it's like they got the girls giving her the massage, which is the two also with like Rear Window. You got people getting massaged all the time. Sounds great, but like she's getting that massage, and the girl's like, stay away from this fucking guy, and she's like, well, why didn't you tell me? It's like they're dropping hints a little bit, but you're right. Once that scene happens, because she just saw him almost. Well,
I guess she did see him like almost kill the guy. So
exactly. So
that's probably the big part.
Yeah, she kind of has that scene where she's like, oh shit, like regardless if he killed this person or not, like he's pretty volatile, and I think that's the point of the movie at the end, is that like he gets cleared of killing that girl, but the point is she doesn't know if you mentioned it, I think earlier, she doesn't know if like he's killed anybody before or if he will again, like, because the damage is already done. She's seen too much. This guy isn't. The guy almost is like writing his screenplays based on real life, and then there's that great scene where he kind of plays out like what would have happened if he did kill her to the police couple or whatever. So even the audience, like this play of like the audience not knowing and her kind of not knowing is like symbiotic. I don't know the word, but like they're together, and it's nice because at the end you're kind of like, well, regardless, like this is not going to work. And then as he walks across the courtyard back to his own apartment, that's the final scene. You're kind of like, well, that's it. Like it didn't work out because this guy may or may not be a killer, but at least we know he's cleared of the original, the original murder.
Did he walk back to his place, or did he walk out of the courtyard entirely?
I mean, I don't know, but they both still had their places, right?
It would just be a little awkward if he went.
Good night.
I pictured him like going down to the bar or something, but if he just went back to his place, she could still see him, and they would just have that awkward moment where they cover the plants.
I mean, that's kind of the thing. The proximity of the two people,
right?
Are right by, and also again, not to look too deeply into this, but mirroring the director and Gloria Grahame's their relationship. I mean, they're married and they're in a rocky marriage, and it ends really quickly after this film is over.
No nagging. Come on.
No nag. Yeah. So like that's kind of the thing. It's like you can't escape each other. You are, in this close proximity to each other. And I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, it sounds like a rough situation. I'll just say that. So, this was apparently a movie that Curtis Hanson showed Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce while filming L.A. Confidential. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm sure Darren's all over that because I haven't seen L.A. Confidential, but you love that movie.
You've never?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't finish that sentence in like 15 years. So,
okay.
Yeah, I said that too quick. I've seen it
because like that movie,
and I remember liking it, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. But I know you like that one quite a bit, right?
I mean, movie fans love that film because of people who love, specifically movie fans who love this time period.
Yeah, the classic Hollywood era for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Curtis Hanson also brilliant guy. I think that film is like pretty perfect. And yeah, I read that too, and I was like, that makes sense. That really makes sense that those characters would have like wanted to like check into this film and really study it to put on the display that they did in that fantastic film. We should cover that.
I need to rewatch it because I mean, since then, Russell Crowe has kind of become one of my favorite actors. For kind of one we covered here,
Master and Commander.
The Nice Guys is one I would love to cover. I love that movie so much.
Which I haven't seen yet, so that would be cool.
It's such a fun fucking movie. I love it. But I know I would appreciate that one way more now, especially Guy Pearce too. So the two of them together, I would love to see it more again, at least. But yeah, I mean, I definitely remember plenty of it and having that classic noir Hollywood vibe for sure. So I've rewatched 8 Mile from Curtis Hanson since then. So,
which is also a great
big fan of that. So
it's been a while since I've seen that one. So yeah, it's funny.
That one's great.
When it's my turn to pick the film,
that one ages really well. So
yeah.
It actually ages better because at the time he was the most famous fucking person in the world. But if you watch it just now, he's not, the most famous person out there. So it's almost like better to watch it with a little bit of age to it. So
yeah, it's aging well. Yeah, as good movies usually do. But the one thing about just like picking the films, right? Like every time we talk and we're in the same room together like this, I'm like, oh yeah, we got to do that one. We got to do that one. And then you are like, yo, what's the pick for the week? And I'm like, I don't, I never know what to choose.
I'm only confused because I know you have hundreds of movies you would want to talk about. So I'm like, how are you struggling to come up with a movie?
Well, to be honest with you,
it's mostly probably accessibility is probably part of it.
Not necessarily. Well, sometimes
because these were all on Criterion. I know you go off, which is a good strategy to go off of. So,
well, that's my streamer of choice, and I spend money happily there. As you know, it's like I don't want to buy a movie or pay another streamer to watch a movie I've seen 1,000 times and already have almost all the streamers. Right, I got Netflix and fucking whatever. I'm not going to pay on top of that to buy another movie. So I'd rather just pick another film for us to do because there's trillions of movies out there to cover. And I'm sure I'll find one that's on one of the streamers I got. But I will say Criterion is so good about putting out films. And we haven't covered Werner Herzog. So that's why Grizzly Man was on there.
I did think that's why that's why I picked this one because it was the only one I hadn't seen. And I just felt like old school Hollywood and hearing you gush about Bogart, so
which is totally great. I love it too. But I was kind of like one of those. Any of those three that I mentioned would have been fine with me. Especially Grizzly Man is one I'd love to talk to you about. I don't know if it's needs a full movie. I would much rather if it was Werner Herzog cover his Nosferatu. Maybe that's I don't know if you've seen that, but it's terrific.
The Klaus Kinski one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Super creepy. A lot of scenes that are super creepy, and it's unexpectedly creepy. But I will say, Grizzly Man really took me for a ride when I first saw it, and then it kind of branched out to it had popularity, and Herzog making that documentary was an interesting thing to me. It became I think on National Geographic Channel or something like that. They did the Timothy Treadwell, the Grizzly Man Diaries, which I thought was so bizarre after that because what happened in the story. I'm not gonna maybe spoil it here, and we'll talk about it one day. But yeah, anyway, that was why it was on there, because it saw it in the Warner. They got a Warner Herzog collection right now on Criterion, and I know we've never covered him, so I don't even know how you feel about him, or if you. He's got a ton of films out there.
I mean, who doesn't like hearing Werner Herzog talk about movies and existential dread?
Yeah, that was that great story about him pulling Joaquin Phoenix out of a car when he got into a car accident. I'm sure you've heard that story, right?
I haven't. I don't know that.
Well, long story short, Joaquin Phoenix was in a car accident, was turned upside down, and the guy who pulled him out of the wreck was Werner Herzog.
That's crazy.
Look up the story.
Like how recent? Or
I don't.
This had to be like a long time ago.
I mean, maybe 15 years. Look up the story. Okay. Well, then listen to Werner Herzog tell. I think there's like a thing in there about like Joaquin Phoenix was in the car and he was like pulling out a cigarette to light it, and Werner Herzog was like, "No, you better not light that cigarette. There's gasoline around." And I think you got to listen to it from Werner Herzog's perspective, because he talks about it when he's asked about it, but Joaquin Phoenix talks about it too, and he says like, can you imagine hearing that voice when you're in like an accident? Like, it's really.
And I'm not saying. I mean, my guess is that this is not true, but it's totally plausible that this was part of his "I'm still here" stunt when he was doing
not.
I totally believe it. I just say, like, if you're just telling somebody this, you could totally write it off and be like, yeah, that was probably just one of his performance parts. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like nonsense. And by the way, I'm still here. I would love to talk about that someday. Like, we're going on a tangent here, but we're full of tangents on this podcast. Anyway, look it up when you get a chance. It's a kind of fun.
Okay, I will tell you my favorite Werner Herzog movie, though.
Okay.
It's not going to be one you expect. It's one of his more recent ones from 2009. He directed the sequel to Bad Lieutenant, the original Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel. He directed the sequel, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, starring our favorite, Nicolas Cage. And that movie
that's on Criterion right now.
Is fucking crazy bananas awesome. I love it. It is so good. Oh, it's so great. It's one of Nicolas Cage's movies, like his favorite movies that he's ever done. He listed out like 5 of his favorite movies. Bringing Out the Dead was on there that we've covered. And Mandy, I think, was on that list, and Bad Lieutenant Port of Call was on that list as well. So It's fucking awesome. He loves it. It's crazy that Werner Herzog directed it, because it's pretty unlike most of his filmography.
Yeah, totally. That's the cool thing about Werner Herzog.
Right.
It's like
he's all over the place.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, what the fuck is this? You know, that's great. I have to see that. I'm, as per usual, there's like a million movies to watch, but all these films that we're talking about, yeah, we're in like the new November kind of rollout that Criterion has. And as you know, I love Criterion. Still the best bang for your buck. I believe it's like $89 for a year, a subscription. I mean, fuck yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
So we mentioned the book was pretty different from the film. It sounds like it was for the better, not necessarily comparing the two, but they are different mediums. So I'm always one that is to support changing a book, because books and movies are completely different. So there's no reason for it to be the exact same.
Well, and especially too, because we're talking about an hour and a half long movie that,
right, as
we know, most 50s films and, movies from World War II on to maybe like the 60s were pretty dialogue heavy. So, you got to have to adapt a film from a book. And I think that was a pretty great craft back then to be a screenwriter, because you need to make it interesting. It's pretty dialogue heavy. There's not a lot of action. There's not CGI. There's not, special effects or practical effects to really move things along and excite the audience. It's got to be some great dialogue.
Well, that was still closer to playwrights.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It was still, that's the thing. It's like a lot of movies, other than a select few, most movies were, for a long time, just the image of a stage just planted onto the movie screen.
You're not moving out of that room.
They weren't using the camera quite as much as a character until later in the medium of film.
You almost go to think that like a lot of these films, like, I mean, how much you think that they actually paid for locations and stuff like that? I mean, nothing, right?
Yeah. They just certainly not that beach scene, because there was that was rough. I do love Modern movies are definitely missing musical numbers in the middle of it for no reason other than just to set the mood and to have some music. So when they go to the club and they got the girl singing on the piano, they just cut to her singing like a song, and it adds nothing to the story other than it just sets the stage and sets the mood. And that's something I think modern movies should be doing more often. So
yeah, totally. I mean, Gilda actually has the lead character singing in it, like out of nowhere, because it's part of her character. But you're right; those are like great moments. It's kind of like, oh, holy shit!
It's just them at the club, and they have the girl perform almost the entire song. Just because
love Bogart too, and that he's like, we warmed a couple seats up for you. Clearly admit that the fucking guy's there, We were here first, but we'll let you have our seats that we warmed up for you,
So good. I like the snarky chain smoking maid. She was pretty fun. She adds a little levity here and there.
Hey, stop. And of course, then we get to like get a little, because of her, we get to get a little glimpse into like the madness of Gloria Grahame, because she's like vacuuming. He's like, I told you not to vacuum when she's sleeping. He's like, well, she's taking pills. She's not going to hear a goddamn thing. And Bogart's like, when did she start taking pills? What the fuck,
Yeah, that was pretty slipped in there pretty quickly and very efficiently. I was like, all right, this whole relationship is crumbling pretty fast. So
but again, that's the great thing about the screenwriting, because it's like they're like, let's get any place where we can add a kernel of something for the audience of what's happening to these people in an hour and a half movie. Let's do it.
Oh, too good. That's all the high level stuff I have. Like I said, it's just being such a great character. By the way, Dixon Steele, talk about a great fucking name. Great name for, especially for a rageaholic. It's kind of perfect.
Band. Yeah, you're going to see Dixon Steele next weekend? Yeah, I got tickets to Dixon Steele.
Dixon Steele and the Ragers.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
I would definitely pay for that. But yeah, it's just like I was very pleasantly surprised that this was more of an existential dread on relationships than it was a straightforward whodunit, because I could see why this is like a pretty rewatchable movie. Like you would watching his reaction, her reaction to the relationship, and the two of them fighting for it, but then at the same time realizing they're not going to be there together because they're both too fucked up. So
yeah, I mean, another thing about films like this, like you really do have to put the phone away and you have to really pay attention.
Yeah, because it is so ambiance driven, like and tone driven, because there's not a lot of like dialogue or set pieces or specific moments that like spur the story forward. It's all about like their vibes together throughout the whole time. So
yeah, 100%. Like, and that's why I appreciate when we do like, me, I'm super into these films, like noirs especially, and movies of this time period. This was one of that, and The Big Heat was great too to cover. I think those are movies that, like, when you do watch them that way, like when you do really focus on them, you get a lot out of it. And it's hard to ask people to do that nowadays. I think people listen to our podcast will, because they're film fanatics like we are. But just anybody, like if someone tells you go watch In a Lonely Place, can you imagine? You got to kind of put the asterisk, like, but go watch In a Lonely Place without distractions. Like, people have a hard time doing that.
I was at the theater this weekend, and people cannot sit still for 2 hours. They just can't do it. Like so many people are incapable of even watching a movie for 2 hours now. So.
What film were you watching?
Predator. Predator Badlands.
Well,
and even a big but like a crazy. I don't know. I mean, you're right. Maybe it is if it was something more subdued. I'm just saying, like being at the theater, like in a crowd, it's like. People have trouble sitting still and watching a movie for 2 hours without talking, or it's a struggle bus for a lot of people. So yeah, the idea of somebody putting down their phone for an hour and a half, this isn't even a long movie for it. And
no.
So,
well, yeah, I don't
not to sound pompous or anything, but it's like, shut up and just watch the fucking movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like, but are we from a different era? Like, you hate to say that because it's like,
no, the bar is very. We're talking movies. We're talking movies. We're not talking about reading academic theses or anything. This is like watching a movie is not that much of a struggle. So if asking somebody to sit still without their phone for an hour and a half is not asking that much. So
agreed. But yeah, as far as the film goes, I'm cool with wrapping it up here because there isn't really too much like to say without getting into like we could go down the rabbit hole of like Nicholas Ray and his whole like shit with like his wife and like what happened. But like that's a story for another day. As far as a film goes, in a lonely
This
place,
wife or a different wife?
well, this wife, like
Okay, this one.
because again, I think
You know more about him than I
well, I
did.
think
So.
I mentioned, they got to deal with the fact that like he catches her in bed with his son. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, maybe we'll cover that on
She
the
didn't.
spinoff of Remainders.
She didn't marry the son, did she?
I
That'd be
believe
crazy.
she did.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's kind of
That
like
is
it
bananas.
was the end of her career, really. So and this is like also when you put it in the context of all of these things we're talking about, this is a pretty pivotal movie in the careers of these uh big players in Hollywood.
Chaos. We need a retrospective TMZ to cover Gloria Grahame.
Well, I love TMZ, so
I know you do. So.
I'm glad we have a guy like me and a guy like you to balance this show because we both have different interests, that's for sure. But also come and to common ground, which is these films, which is that's what you hope, in life, to have people you can talk about even when you have differences come together on good stories and good movies, the arts, as it were.
Your tastes suck, but I'm not gonna lie.
Well, one thing we can agree on is the last three movies that we covered we loved, and I think we loved this one as well. So that's win-win.
Dude, I mean, I will go Bogart anytime for sure. So
yeah,
to keep that.
Petrified Forest is one that I don't know if have you ever seen that, Bogart?
No.
Petrified Forest, I believe that's the name of it. Really great early Bogart. He plays a big heavy in that.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, here it is. I mean, yeah, his face is because so growing up in our basement, we had a picture of Humphrey Bogart. It was a picture of him from the African Queen opening up like a case. It's kind of a famous picture, I think, because I've seen it in other places, but it's just his face. I remember because we had that picture up for multiple years from the African Queen. Yeah, so it was it was just kind of a cool image that's always that has always reminded me of childhood. So
well, here I just wanted to say it like so Jim Jarmusch and Nicholas Ray. I'm looking it up. Interesting. He did Jim Jarmusch did like a thing. Do you remember Filmstruck? So can we talk about that for just a second? Do you remember Filmstruck?
Well, yeah, let's wrap up In a Lonely Place. Go watch it, love it. What is Filmstruck? It sounds familiar.
Sorry, yeah, before we go in there, I apologize. I should have ended our discussion.
I was just saying, yeah.
This was my pick.
That was more for me. So
I'm so happy that you really enjoyed it as a first watch. Exciting. I love film noir. This is tippy top. Really one of the big
is it up there for one of your favorites?
It is.
For the noir?
And
nice.
So is The Big Heat, so we've covered some pretty good ones in there. There's a lot of film noirs I've never seen. So I'm pretty happy if you're a fan of film noirs. Criterion Channel, as we always talk about, our love for it, has a really great curated list right now, which In a Lonely Place is on there. Thanks for listening. We're going to move on just for a second, but this is still in the discussion because Jim Jarmusch worked with Nicholas Ray, I think, when is very, very, very early on. And Nicholas Ray kind of became, from what I've read and from what I remember, kind of like an independent film guru, like in his, because he's came from the Hollywood system, but then also like knew a lot about like making films. And Filmstruck was the beginning of the Criterion Channel. So anybody who doesn't know anything about Filmstruck was the fucking best. And it was like it lived for like a few months, and then all of a sudden it became like a war with streaming and big companies that like big studios that run a lot of these streamers was like no, and it shut it down. And it was a bummer because it was so good. But on the other hand, Criterion had like a little presence in it. Like it was like they were like partners with it, and then after it closed down, it became a its own channel, and then people, I don't know how the rights work and all that kind of stuff, but like a lot of these films, you got to get the rights to stream them, right, for a month or 2 months or whatever it goes. So I think Criterion just had a lot more like ability to do that, and Filmstruck maybe not, but I loved Filmstruck. It was like curating the best shit. It was so good, and it was short-lived. But anyway, I'm looking here online as I looked up Jim Jarmusch and Nicholas Ray. There's a looks like an 18-minute discussion with Jim Jarmusch about Nicholas Ray that I'm interested in to watch, that was filmed for Filmstruck back in 2018. Because I can't remember what he did with him. He like, I think he worked on like one of his like low budget films or something, and they became friends. And he learned a lot about directing from Nicholas Ray. And then, as we know, Jim Jarmusch is one of the biggest names in indie filmmaking, successful indie filmmakers that we know that's currently making films.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Nicholas Ray passed away in '79, so it definitely would have been really early, because I think like Strangers in Paradise was like 80, so it definitely would have been like while he's still in film school at the time. So
yeah, and I want to say that Nicholas Ray, also, there's a great documentary that I watched somewhere out there about him. He's a really interesting guy. I would just say, if you're interested in this film, or anything that we're talking about, maybe look up more on Nicholas Ray, because he's a really interesting guy. And like I said, he directed 1955, so 5 years after this film, Jimmy Dean in Road Without a Cause.
Legend, yo.
Legend, yeah.
Jarmusch taken from the best. So, and I mean, anybody wearing an eye patch, kicking ass doing it.
Look how cool, dude. Look at his pictures of the guy. Looks fucking cool as hell,
I do remember Filmstruck. Now that I looked up that logo, I never had it, but yeah, I didn't realize it was kind of. It looked like it was the service from Turner Classic Movies, TCM.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, because like I would say that I became a member of that, and then it closed down, and I was bummed. But like pretty soon after that, in 2018, I became a member of the Criterion Channel, and it was like born from the ashes type of thing,
Rise from the ashes, Criterion will. Love it.
Is that your
unintentionally, but yes. All right, what else you been watching? Anything good?
Gosh, like not much. I've been this whole month I've been taking, as you can see, new digs. I've like taken a little break from a spot that I'm in to like get a little bit more room to paint. So I've been painting nonstop since November 3rd, I think it was.
Hell yeah.
I got a job doing some stuff for the band called Drain at Epitaph, and I was I had to go out and do that at the beach, so I changed my location for all of November, starting with that. And yeah, it's been awesome, but also kind of like really hard once you like say I'm going to paint for a month with no distractions and no anything. Like this is the first distraction I've had, and it's like, not that this is a distraction, but you get it, like something that's different than the painting. And it's weird when you go in that mode and it's like, oh wait, now I get to be everything I've always wanted to paint, and like it almost blocks your creative, because you like you got to get into like the stream of it. And I think I finally am. I think I finally like caught my stride. I painted something really great today that I love. So anyway, the idea is to like come up with new work and to see how much I can do here without being distracted. I haven't really had that in the last 4 years since I became a artist full time, and I'm loving it. But that means I haven't really watched too much, and I haven't done anything but like wake up and paint, except for I started, and I think I'm about maybe 45 minutes into the new Frankenstein.
Ooh.
Have you seen?
I have not. It wasn't really even on my radar. I feel like
not on mine either.
I just didn't really even know it was happening too much. I feel like I'd heard things, but then so I was excited about it. I mean, it went straight to Netflix, right? So I don't have Netflix.
I don't know if there was a theatrical release or not.
I haven't seen it anywhere. Like I said, I chose Predator. So if I had seen Frankenstein, I probably would have done a double feature, but I didn't see it playing anywhere this past weekend. What
attracts you to another version of Frankenstein, right? Like, I don't really care to see Frankenstein other than the original, because I fucking love the original. James Whale, all of that, Universal Monsters, I love that stuff. And there's been so many adaptations over time of all of these like classic horrors, right? But You add
but it's such a great
Toro.
story though. So
Yes, and if
I
you
love
read the book.
I love the book. Like
Well,
I've read it a couple times. Yeah, like it's such good source material that like I feel like that's why like I really haven't seen anything where I'm like, oh, why would we need another Frankenstein? So
well, exactly, but I haven't seen kind of Branagh's version, which I believe was supposed to be faithful.
I saw it.
You did.
I saw it for the first time this past in the last year, and
I didn't know about it.
I didn't know what to think about it. It was out there, like it's really? Like it's a crazy out there movie. It's like
is it faithful or because it's called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, right? That's why
I guess technically it's more faithful, but I mean, you got Kenneth Branagh's like Shakespearean language with it, which kind of I was a little surprised. Not surprised, but like it does kind of like date it a little bit. I mean, I had fun time watching it. It was just. It wasn't as it was just it was a lot of stuff out of left field. He was a lot of choices in the movie where I was like, I did not see that coming. I did like it. Yeah, I did like it. Again, just the idea of De Niro playing him is still a weird choice. Like the whole movie I'm watching, I'm like, is it really should it really be De Niro playing this? But it still works.
One of our greatest actors of all time because like that I feel like is almost the artsiness of it, you know?
Yeah, I did like it. I guess, to kind of put it that way, it was a little too artsy, Shakespearean. I don't know. I'm sure if I watch it again, I'll probably like it more because I'll know what I'll be expecting. So,
and on the heels of this, I'm reading that they're doing like Bride of Frankenstein with Christian Bale.
Yeah,
playing them
with Maggie Gyllenhaal directing. Yeah, I guess I heard. Yeah, so.
So
it sounded excited for that. So.
Well, I mean, I'll watch it. That's kind of how I felt about
that looks and sounds like a loose it's not going to be. Well, I mean, you said you love the original Frankenstein. I like Bride of Frankenstein, the OG one better than the original.
Oh yeah, I love it. Then James Whale's, right? Well, I think James Whale did both, didn't he?
I think he directed both, but either way, I like that Bride of Frankenstein better than the original. So I'm just curious, like, if this is going to be a remake of that or just completely something new.
I think that's the thing that I'm kind of maybe sighing about is that like I don't want to see like the
chick put in front like every other movie now. So
no, it's not that. It's like more so like
that was my quote. That not Darren. So don't bust Darren's ball. That was me putting words in his mouth. So
the main thing is like trying to be too cool about like an old classic horror film. Like right. Like I don't. It
looked like a TikTok. It looked like a TikTok trailer when I did see the fight. I saw the trailer at Predator, and that was the first thing I've seen about it. So.
That's why I sigh about it because I don't really have any care to like watch like the trendy new version of Frankenstein or Bride of Frankenstein, but.
Gotcha.
Guillermo del Toro. I'm not like I love Guillermo del Toro. I do like Guillermo del Toro a lot. I like Pan's Labyrinth. I like him. He is very.
I'm like 90%. I love Guillermo del Toro.
Okay,
I'm almost 100%, but not 100%. But
so maybe that's how I feel. And like it's not like I want to go because like you kind of know what to expect going into his world, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say like you know what to expect when you're going into the world of Tim Burton or Wes Anderson. So did I want to see Frankenstein in there? You almost think that that's a perfect pairing, right? But it's kind of like I don't know. However, the first 10 minutes of the film, you're hooked. It's great. Also, a lot of names in there that are like kind of like the newer school of actors that are sort of like killing it these days. And I'm kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm a little.
This is Oscar Isaac, right?
Yes. And also the guy who played Elvis in Sofia Coppola's Priscilla. He plays.
It's an actor I've never. Elordi. Jacob
Elordi, yeah.
Okay, I've never seen this person in a movie. I'm still not convinced he's an actor. I'm sure he is, but I've never seen him in anything
because he's like in the new school.
That's
so
possible.
He plays the monster, and you don't get a lot of. But here's the thing: Mia Goth is in it. We love Mia Goth. We love fucking Maxine. We love.
I heard she has eyebrows in this movie. So
well, barely, but yes. Anyway, I'm not fully there yet. I think 45 minutes in, but I'm loving it. I maybe finish it tonight. And
I do love Mia Goth.
I do.
She's fucking. She's a nutcase in everything, and I love it.
I don't mean so to pivot like this, but she's married to Shia LaBeouf, and I just saw like something that
They're married.
Yes, they're married.
Wow.
Yeah, which is like even adds even more coolness to it all because that guy has had such like an interesting career. And I just saw that Megalopolis, maybe it already came out, but like there was like a making of where he like commented like,
Ooh.
I was like, I guess like unsurprising to nobody that he was difficult on set.
I'm excited to watch Megalopolis again. So, because
I know you said it's going to age really well. I've never seen it.
I think it's going to age fantastic. Like, because the whole time I'm like, I'm loving this, but also hating every second, which is kind of the best signal for something that's going to age and just feel and look better as time goes by, and you kind of understand what you're watching a little bit more. So.
Yeah, but that's what I've been watching, I guess. How about you? What you said you saw the new Predator, right?
I saw the new Predator. I mean, the Alien and Predator franchises are two of my favorites. It's fine. Everything's owned by Disney now, so it's just a little watered down and kind of more basic.
I mean, Predator is owned by Disney, really?
Predator and Alien are both Fox, and Fox was acquired by Disney. Disney owns fucking everything now. So.
That's so interesting too. I guess like. That those movies, when they first started, you would never thought like a franchise or a big business like Disney would own them. But yeah. And
that's kind of the problem is, they're both kind of, mean from their origins. They're just both mean, gritty, violent movies.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the issue. I mean, people have been
watered down because of the ownership of them. Do you feel like that?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, because they're just it felt more like an MCU movie than a Predator movie. So, and some people have been loving it. Like it's been getting great reviews because that's the thing with these movies. Though. It's like a lot of them are just feeling like they're made by AI. So none of these movies are making any mistakes. So a lot of people just, as long as there's not any egregious errors in the movie, people are just like, this is the greatest movie ever. So I did rewatch the original Predator after watching that, and it's still one of the best action movies of all time. So. I'll just say that. No surprise there.
Yeah.
I had a Stevens.
That's up your alley 10,000%.
Oh my God. The original Predator is fucking classic. Not to mention Predator 2 with Danny Glover. So
no shit.
Love it. I did have a Steven Sommers marathon over the last 2 weeks. Steven Sommers directed the first two Mummies with Brenden Fraser. So those are his two biggest movies. So Mummy, The Mummy Returns. Before that, he directed Deep Rising, which was in a fucking awesome 90s creature feature starring Treat Williams. Rest in peace. Yeah, not too long ago. And Famke Janssen. Great fucking 90s movie.
Famke Janssen, we don't talk about her ever. Like, what the fuck has she been doing? I mean, X-Men and all the shit that she was in back in the day. God damn. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
We'll get to it. For sure. Deep Rising would be a fun one to cover, but I mean, he and then also Van Helsing. So he made this type of action horror comedy that just doesn't exist anymore. Movies that were like over the top. I realized it's actually great. Yeah, I only watched it for the first time a couple of years ago, and it's. I mean, it's in the same vein with like the Mummy. So it's like that over the top comedic vibe is where you're at. Like it's where it's at. But so I had a great time watching all those, and then I did some more research. I've never seen any of the Scorpion King movies starring The Rock.
Yeah, that's like a spinoff. Yeah, of the Mummy.
Yeah, so that he showed up in Mummy Returns with some of the worst CGI ever. The notoriously. I mean, we talked about Escape from LA having some of the worst CGI. When The Rock shows up as the Scorpion King and Mummy Returns, it's basically PlayStation 2 graphics. So it's of its time, and it's notorious for being some of the worst. But I did do some research, and apparently the Scorpion King movie that came out maybe like 2006-ish or something, directed by Chuck Russell, who we just talked about, directed The Blob and The Mask. So I'm kind of excited to see what he did with the Scorpion King. And then the Scorpion King 2 was directed by Russell Mulcahy, director of now I'm forgetting the fucking name of it. The Australian warthog movie that we love.
Yeah.
Razorback.
Yeah.
Our classic episode on our podcast, Razorback. Russell Mulcahy also directed The Shadow and Highlander. So I'm sure these movies are not good because it's at the end of both of those directors' careers, but I'm pretty excited to watch.
I just wanted to say about Scorpion King. Are you sure it was 2006? I think it was earlier.
No,
I remember we were at Suncoast.
It may have been. It could have been earlier than that. I don't know. Don't quote me.
I remember like it coming out, and we had to play it on the video screen to try to sell it.
Let's find out. This is early in The Rock's career. Like getting the Scorpion King was. I think it's like his
first movie, dude.
Was a huge deal for The Rock. 2002. Yeah, way earlier than that. So that was pretty quickly after Mummy Returns. So yeah.
And by the way, so since we're talking about that, you heard that there is the Mummy 4 is going to happen with Rachel Weisz and Brenden Fraser, yeah?
That might have spurred off my Stephen Sommers marathon over the last 2 weeks. And if that happens, I'll be there day one for sure. So.
I mean, dude, it's like everybody who loves Indiana Jones just can like merrily on their way to, see the mummies because it's the same deal,
Right. And that's what's so great about that, especially that first one. Like it really does feel like a vintage 30s serial action adventure. So
100%, dude. Well, cool, man. Listen.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is there any other films that you've seen that you would like to recommend?
I'm getting out of my October rewatch phase. Just a lot of comfort horror movies through October, so not a ton new. I will recommend Avatar: Fire and Ash in 36 days when that comes out. Just FYI. Oh,
we can have a couple more episodes of the countdown before we do this. I'm gonna be sad when that's gone. We'll have a new countdown for the next one, won't we?
I was going to say Avatar 4 is about 1,499 days from now. So it's again only because I looked at it, and I'm not going to go. We're done with the countdown after Avatar comes out. Just FYI, I'm not going to put you through that for 4 years. So
well, I wish you would. I kind of look forward to it. But anyway, go ahead.
I got a couple quick physical media that I got.
Oh yeah,
The Descent.
Oh nice.
Finally came out in 4K. Got this great Steelbook edition from Lionsgate. Lionsgate been killing it. They did the Frailty deluxe box set that just came out recently. So this great box set. Very excited to watch this. I love this artwork. You could see them sitting at the top, looking at down at the cave, right?
Yep.
Okay, you turn this over. And
damn!
You see the face of the monster itself.
Damn, that is so good. Hey, if anybody is watching this and hasn't seen The Descent, you need to, and also then you can listen to our episode on The Descent, which I watched it for the first time. Patrick's recommendation. It was on Criterion for Halloween in October. I think it still is. It was part of 90s horror, which I thought was pretty great. There's a 90s horror thing along with.
Well, it wouldn't have been 90s. It's 2005.
Sorry, 2000s horror is what it was.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, at the same time, like pleasantly surprised at The Descent from a first-time watcher. So I highly recommend. That was a great.
It legit is. It definitely is a top 10 horror movie for all time for me. So, and then Umbrella from Australia, they finally put out this deluxe box set of the 90s movie Freaked from Alex Winter.
I don't know.
Have you ever seen Freaked?
Ted fame?
Yeah.
No, dude, I've never seen.
Freaked was this movie that would show up on HBO as a kid. It's about Alex Winter. He's a former childhood star, ends up getting caught up with this freak show run by Randy Quaid, Cousin Eddie. And so he turns him into a freak.
It's already sold.
It's a cavalcade of ridiculousness. You got Bobcat Goldthwait. You actually have a cameo. He was uncredited at the time, but this is Keanu Reeves as the dog boy. He was uncredited in the movie because even though he's got a major part in it, but at the time they didn't credit it because it would have taken too much attraction away from it. Yeah, but it just would have distracted from it. But this is I rewatched this. I was expecting it to just be kind of like a trashy nostalgia pick, like something fun. This is actually a fucking great 90s piece of absurdism, like of the time, like of early MTV, over the top absurdist pop culture. It is a great fucking movie. And Alex Winter co-directed it. And yeah, highly recommend it.
I mean, he's gone on to be a pretty big player in some sort of indie scene of like directing and stuff like that, Alex Winter.
He directed a documentary that I would love to cover, Zappa, his love of Frank Zappa. He did a full documentary on him, and I would love to cover that one day. But
Cool.
this box set, I mean, this is deluxe shit. I mean, you got the whole like script, a full book with all the pictures and everything. So Umbrella, when you want to go over the top, Umbrella from Australia does it right. So,
Dude, I'll tell you what, like going back like maybe like just even like a year of this podcast and looking at your background to what it is now, you've been pretty fucking serious about your physical media in the last
moving it all back to the rebuilding, actually pulling, it's about a third of it I pulled out of storage, third of it replaced, and a third of it new stuff, completing the movies that I have not bought in 10 years. So
have you used my discount on Criterion, by the way, or no? They've been
I did. That's like I got it. I forgot to mention that's I used it for a History of Violence.
Oh,
I showed that last week. Yeah.
I actually think I have like also like maybe a $15 or $20 gift certificate for being a member since 2018, and I'll send that your way if I find it. Because I just sent you like a discount thing or whatever, but they're constantly having sales. Like they stay.
I think Barnes and Nobles has, but because so Criterion does a sale, but then Barnes and Noble they have like a partnership basically with them, and Barnes and Noble always have a robust Criterion collection, and so they do a sale as well. So
gotcha.
No problem there. Criterion does their own sale. Barnes and Noble does it because Criterion the prices are naturally a little high, so everybody just knows it's like just wait until one of the 50% off sales, and that's when you do all your purchasing.
Like,
so
it always has been that way. I remember when I got I think it was Brief Encounter. I was really wanting to have that because I was such a David Lean freak at the time. And I remember like my ex-girlfriend Lindsay she bought it for me, and she's like, this fucking movie was like $50, and that was like in like 2004 or something like that. You know, like they're not cheap. I don't know what the costs nowadays are, but back in the day they were always expensive on Criterion to buy them.
The OG boutique. I was just thinking, is Mean Streets on Criterion?
No, I don't know. A lot of Scorsese is, but it's a lot of early Scorsese before, big budget shit.
Mean Streets is pretty
like After Hours, I think is,
looks like it is. I was just realizing I don't own Mean Streets, and I haven't watched it in a couple of years, and I was so wanting to watch it the other day, and I was like, I should wait to get.
Is that our De Niro introduction? Is that De Niro's first film?
That pretty much. Well, De Niro's not his first film, but like I think that's like Scorsese's introduction to him. And the first scene is him walking into the bar with Jumping Jack Flash. So it's like it's the most iconic. Like that's like Scorsese and De Niro like meeting each other for the first time on screen, and so that's eternally iconic. So I just haven't seen it in a couple of years, and I was like, I want to watch the Criterion version.
We love film. I'm so glad we do this podcast. We're going on like almost 5 years of doing this, and it's like all of this stuff feels
like we're just scratching the surface. Sometimes. Yeah, most of the time.
Literally, so. I don't know. Like by the end of our lives, if we'll like even scratch the surface. There's so much here,
Never gonna stop.
We're doing this like podcast in heaven, for crying out loud. If we get there.
I'm going to keep up my Bogart tendencies. I'm going straight to hell.
Yeah.
That's what the women like.
I mean, we could talk the Douglas Sirk, which we haven't covered at all that heaven allows,
I don't know any of the words you just said.
You don't know anything about Douglas Sirk?
No.
Sure. Usually around the fall time, Criterion will put out a Douglas Sirk. Like he's a very colorful and very melodramatic movies, usually starring Rock Hudson. Not usually, but starring Rock Hudson. So yeah, maybe we'll cover some Douglas Sirk next.
German filmmaker, All That Heaven Allows. That's the one you just said. Imitation of Life, Written on the Wind, Magnificent Obsession.
Yeah,
I've heard of Imitation of Life. I haven't seen anything from it. So yeah, this would be a complete introduction to.
Well, here we go. This is what we're saying. Like barely scratching the surface of shit,
All right. Yeah. Anything else to wrap up? One little topper. Guillermo del Toro's best movie is still Blade 2. So I do.
He did Blade 2.
I do wholeheartedly agree. It's way up there as one of his best movies. So yeah.
Well, also I've been seeing shit about Blade doing a new movie. Like there's been talk about that.
Well, he showed up in the MCU recently with the Ryan Reynolds movie. Wesley Snipes did. So if it is going to be another one, it would be an MCU movie. So nothing like the OG ones that you saw. But yeah, he did Blade 2. That was one of Del Toro's early. Well, Mimic was his first like American film, and then Blade 2 was after that. So
it's kind of like the cool shit with like directors when they become like huge names. Like their early shit is always so fucking priceless. Like, Alice Doesn't Live Here. Like what would Scorsese do if he had no budget? And then it's like, okay, well, what about like, and also Boxcar Bertha, which was a Roger Corman film. But then there's also
that's right.
like,
I always forget about that.
About Guillermo del Toro. I didn't even know that. But then if you think about Peter Jackson and The Frighteners, like for The Frighteners is probably my favorite Peter Jackson film, But I wouldn't say that's necessarily low budget. That's Robert Zemeckis as well. But an early film by a director that's widely known as like a badass.
Got to cover Dead Alive. Got to cover Frighteners. Peter Jackson. So I'm just throwing this one out there. I've been thinking about if we do like a marathon with the King Kongs. I would love to cover the 3 King Kongs. The 1933 OG, the 76 remake with Jeff Bridges, which I fucking love, which is kind of like
also Jessica Lange, right?
Jessica Lange. People have just described it as like if Brian De Palma had directed King Kong, kind of like just it feels like that kind of 70s vibe.
Never seen that sound.
I remember you talking about that. And I love it because that was kind of my introduction. That's the one I saw as a kid on TV, and it's by far the most frightening. Like it's the scariest King Kong. Like he's like a true kind of monster in some of those scenes. And then the Peter Jackson King Kong, which spoiler alert, might be my favorite King Kong. Yeah. So
Jack Black.
That would be a fun marathon.
I'd love to
cover
go
all
back
those
and see 2005's. Because that's also right after Lord of the Rings.
Peter and Jackson. It feels like Lord. It feels exactly because it's the entire team. It's everybody he worked like all the writers, everything. The vibe is 100% Lord of the Rings. That's why it's so awesome.
Naomi Watts, and she was coming off of a really great like working with David Lynch, of course, and stuff like that. But then I remember being a little like, what is up with this Jack Black thing? Trying to be a serious actor, even though he's kind of goofy, but he's still like. I would love to rewatch. Now knowing, like, not thinking that way, like knowing Jack Black the way I do, because
I think he's perfectly Carl Denham, just like the slimy kind of scumbag that you can't trust. Like, right. He's playing serious, but he's also by far like the comedic relief of the movie. But that's
what I mean. Aging it out of like that time period of like what you knew of Jack Black in 2005 would be so fun for me to like kind of rediscover. I've only seen it once.
Oh yeah.
So in between. I love it. The 70s version I have never seen, but of course I've seen the original. I saw it at the New Beverly Theater. Parents took their kids in the morning, and it was so fun to watch like little kids watching the original King Kong.
I had the exact same experience of morning showing at the Music Box.
Oh,
it was like a 11 or noon showing on a Saturday or like I mean, it was just a daytime. Yeah, it was like pretty packed house. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. So
I also had the pleasure of seeing Wall-E at a like early morning showing at Soho House in West Hollywood, and my girlfriend Marianne and I went. She had like a broken foot at the time, and it was just like, well, what can we do? Like, oh, they're showing Wall-E over at the Soho House, so we went and we saw that, and it was a joy to watch that with children.
Oh, I bet.
I feel like it's such an adult movie in so many ways, but just to like see how it works on both levels, like a movie like Wall-E, that. Those people who make those films, Pixar, they're fucking geniuses.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You had your Finding Neverland moment where you just plants kids into the audience and watch Peter Pan and see the joy in it to give all the adults realization of what they're going for. So
yeah,
love it. Kick ass. Anything else you want to talk about? Music?
Yeah, let's talk about music. So. As we're talking about a lot of things in life and, all that heaven allows and all that stuff and in a lonely place, I think I'm going to talk about a song by a band called The Specials. You know The Specials?
I do know The Specials.
I'm not a big fan of ska.
I've seen The Specials in concert.
Yeah.
Long time ago. So
don't know if they still perform, but I know they kind of had a resurgence a couple of years ago. I think a couple of members of their band had passed away. They're a great band, they're, I think, known for like kind of one of the pioneers of ska. But I don't know a ton about them. I'm not going to pretend like I do. But they have the song called "Enjoy Yourself." It's later than you think. And like they have a song called Rudy. I think a Rudy, right? Like it's like
Message to you,
a
Rudy.
message to you, Rudy, which is like sampled in like from anything from Sublime to the Clash and stuff like that. I think the Clash was heavily influenced by them. But anyway, the song "Enjoy Yourself." It's later than you think is such a great, fun song about like fucking dying. Like it's like,
Mm.
look, you gotta fucking go out and enjoy yourself. Like you're not gonna be young forever. And it is really a fun song that is playing on the fact that like we don't live forever. So that's my song, and there's nothing really else other than I've like enjoyed listening to that while I've been painting in the last month here.
Hell yeah. Um,
I will say before we end and go to you, I'm sorry.
no, let's stay on ska for a second. So,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, what were you going to say?
I just wanted to say, like, I did listen to our Zevon playlist while painting the other day.
I was listening to it last week because we briefly talked. I still needed to figure out about this, the concert that I missed, and catch up and maybe see if we can watch a full version of it and see what they covered and who played. So, yes.
Zevon's induction into the Hall of Fame. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, and they had a concert here in LA, and we just talked about it. So, yeah, it's probably got to be online somewhere. But anyway, go ahead, Pat.
Looking back, I could have gone to LA and seen John Carpenter and the Zevon concert.
Yeah, you could have just stayed with me and fucking both of them.
Fucking dropping the ball in my old age. I'm getting too old. I'm just like, nah, staying home sounds more fun. So,
yeah.
I heard a description of ska that I'll remember till the day I die. It's like somebody described ska sounds like what a kid hears when the mozzarella sticks comes out when they're at Chuck E. Cheese. Inside of kids' head, when the mozzarella sticks come out at Chuck E. Cheese, that's what ska sounds like.
Well,
and for whatever reason,
but I don't know what the fuck that means. But I love that. Yeah.
I mean, with the horns and the ridiculousness, and it's just that's a description of ska I'll never forget. Like, because I totally agree.
The fact that mozzarella sticks are coming out, so you just like envision like this amazing, like triumphant.
Well, just being a child and the excitement of when the pizza or the mozzarella sticks come out while you're at Chuck E. Cheese. Ska kind of captures that innocent, kind of retarded tone that's going on in your head as a child. So,
well, whoever said that is a great artist because that's an amazing, that's an amazing thing.
And so I kind of agree with you. Ska is not that great. It's not a great genre of music. I don't shit on things, but it's a rough one. Sometimes it's hard
too because
it's not at my forefront. So
it's hard too when somebody like Sublime comes out and they like are so fucking good and they're like so inspired by like they have ska on it and you're like, was I wrong about ska this whole time? You're kind of looking around like, am I an asshole? Like, because you love that band and you know that they're so heavily influenced by it, but you like totally don't love that like genre. So, but yeah, I will admit like it's fun. Like
it can be fun. I'm not denying. Yeah. I will never deny something being fun or somebody liking it because it's fun, but
right. Or just denying art in general, but it's just not for us, right? That's the thing.
Yeah. It's good for like a video game. Like,
there you go.
Put the Mighty Mighty Boss Towns while you're playing like Crash Bandicoot or something. So
right. If the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones get on stage and you're at Warped Tour, you're going to see like whatever band is playing across the way. Like that's my opinion. Like Bad Religion is probably playing at the same time. I'm going to see Bad Religion. You guys can watch the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
They're a great cameo in Clueless.
Mighty Boss Tones?
Yeah.
Are they still playing?
I don't know. Clueless came out 30 years ago, so I can't vouch for it.
But I mean, I probably should be. I should be up on this stuff. I mean, I'm sure they are playing still. Like, and not great career. I'm sure people love them. So again,
we're not being haters. Just FYI.
Yeah.
If you love ska, I want to enjoy your enjoyment of it. So, all right. What have I been listening to? I started reading a new biography that I've never read of Lou Reed. This is The King of New York. I've read several biographies because he's one of my favorite artists of all time. I think I gave you one of his biographies.
Gave me one of his biographies.
That one's great.
I haven't read yet. Yeah,
that one is fantastic. I haven't read. I'm only a couple pages in, so I just picked it up yesterday. But absolutely love Lou Reed. Awesome life, awesome music. So just been kind of feeling him the last 24 hours. So I'm going Crazy Feeling by Lou Reed. This is on Coney Island Baby. This is his 1976 album. Really, it's not an underrated album. People love it, but it's one of his kind of, less popular ones. It's not always, there wasn't any like huge hits off of it. So, but it's kind of like one of his shorter ones. I think it's only like 30, 35 minutes, 8 songs, but it's kind of his most romantic, most kind of not poppy. It's like has this blend of like jazzy doo-wop with rock and roll. So it's just kind of like one of his more positive albums. He can be kind of a downer quite a bit, very much a downer. And sometimes this is one of his more upbeat albums, more fun, more romantic albums. And the song Crazy Feeling is the opener on it. And it's just a fucking awesome, almost pop tune. Very catchy. Love it. And Lou Reed will forever be one of my favorites.
Cool. Yeah. And for everybody listening, as I always say during this time, we had this like crazy playlist that we've curated of songs from every episode dating back to maybe like 3 or 4 years now of this podcast. And it's pretty cool. It's a fun listen if you've got,
Crazy Feeling and Enjoy Yourself are inevitably two jukebox.
I mean, at this point, so. Like I've been listening to like a lot of like, I don't know what like there's a lot of like heavy, like not heavy metal, but like
black metal,
like the band Drain that I just worked with. Like they're like a hardcore band from like Santa Cruz, and it's like that was never my thing, like but like I'm kind of like finding myself liking it, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like I wouldn't like put it on all the time, but like then like sometimes you'll throw shit on there that's like this like fucking black death metal from Norwegian black death metal. And I'm like, I wouldn't necessarily listen to that, but like because you like just like the movies that we because you like it, I'm like I'm listening to it with like a different attention. Like, it's fucking cool, like Pat thinks it's cool. I fucking think this is cool,
I mean, that's the beauty of art and sharing art is like you don't necessarily have to like it. You just you kind of open yourself to like to see something that somebody else may see in it, and that gives you a whole different interpretation of it. So
totally. And then when you meet somebody that like us likes Warren Zevon for whatever reason.
For lots of reasons.
Well, yes, but for like us coming to like some realization that like we both like that's like the sweet spot where because like not that's not for everybody. Warren Zevon is definitely not for everybody, but when you find somebody who like is a Zevon person, it's like, oh yeah, this is the good shit,
There's Zevon heads and they're just people who haven't discovered them yet. Those are the two groups. So
kind of like what I say about the Beatles. It's like if you don't like the Beatles, you're a liar. It's like if you don't like Warren Zevon, it's like, well, you just don't get it yet,
Well, you just don't know them enough. Yeah, I mean, those are polar opposites. I mean, everybody knows the Beatles. Most people don't know Zevon. Yeah, you're right. I agree. People who say don't like the Beatles are liars. At the same time, there are a lot of people our age who it was shoved down their throats their entire childhood.
Well, of course, their parents, that's what they grew up on.
So I kind of understand when, people our age are just like, all right, I get it. And, so they don't necessarily need to put it on all the time. But yes, I mean, there are influences, no denying that for sure. So what's your favorite Beatles song?
Well, I've always loved All My Loving, and I think it's just really like the idea of like I always thought it was like kind of like this song about like being at war or something, and like you're sending this like letter back to like your lady, I always kind of like the idea of that, but I also love there's like this like like a janky little like guitar part that just goes through the whole song, like just like on one note, basically. And I've always loved that. So yeah, and I love the harmonies on it. There's a lot of like, I'm a low harmony freak, and I love that song for that reason. What about you?
I don't know. Yeah,
I know that's
the night. Well, because you're a bigger Beatles person than I am. I mean, on the two, I pick the Rolling Stones, and
what you're wrong about, but yeah,
when I stand up back objectively with that question, the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, the answer is Bob Dylan. So, so that's just giving you context of where I'm at with that. I mean, I've definitely listened to everything the Beatles do. That what's the song? The Night Before is one that I always loved.
Like you did
Yeah,
the night.
that's for whatever that one I have always loved. Is that a Harrison? I think it's a Harrison.
I don't think so.
Oh no, okay.
I'll have to look, but I know the song. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's an earlier tune. Like,
is that Rubber Soul or?
I think it is Rubber Soul, and actually, that's my favorite Beatles record. Actually, if you want to know that, Rubber Soul, I think is like where that sweet spot is before they became like the creepy Beatles. And then, you know, is that what
their later stage?
Well, that's what I call.
Like, no, it's on Help.
70s. Oh,
it's on Help, which I love. Help. Actually, now that I think about it, Help does Help. It has a lot of songs I like on it quite a bit. But you're right, it is in that earlier stage. So yeah, I guess I am more prone to the earlier Beatles than the later Beatles. But yeah, The Night Before. If we're just adding a couple, let's just add. I'll just
Beatles, man. What movie is that? Is that Wayne's World?
It's Wayne's World. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shitty Beatles. Are they any good? They suck, man.
Exactly. I forgot about that scene. So good.
Oh, Wayne's World, classic 90s. Let's just add these Beatles songs. We don't have any Beatles on the jukebox, so I might just add these two on there. So.
Yeah, why not?
All right, kick ass. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about? Good for today?
That's it, man. Yeah, just sun just fully went down over here, and now it's like 5:30, total pitch dark. I'm waiting for this shit to finally be over. Come bring on the summer so we can have some daylight.
Well, cool your jets. Cool. This is my weather right now.
I know you like it, but dude, do you like being depressed for fucking 5:30 comes around? You got the darkness and the cold. You like that shit?
There's nothing depressing about it.
Well,
no, I'm not like. There's nothing depressing. One, I know summer is going to happen eventually, so there's no reason to be depressed about it happening now.
But it feels like 12 years before that happens, because like winter goes forever in Chicago.
Yeah, but so does summer. So I don't know. I'm up at the gym first thing in the morning, get my sunlight then, and then 5:30 it rolls out. Sun's down. Perfect time for a movie. Way better than 8:00 sunset. So.
All right, I feel you on that. I mean, get cozy a little bit. It's a little chilly, whatever.
It's the best. Ooh, maybe I'll make some chili this week. So.
Ooh, chili sounds good. God, I haven't chili in forever.
Fuck yeah.
Chili doesn't sound great when you're in California. It doesn't fucking chili, it doesn't sound great.
It's for Chicagoans when they're watching the Bears, who are tied for first place right now. So.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I know is I'm in first place in my fantasy football team. So, fuck you all.
I'll bow down to Darren's fantasy football. So
that's right. If I win, all it really means is I make some money. If I lose, it just means I lost some money. So
talk about an existential statement that sums up everything in life right now. So
exactly. I mean, here's the thing with fantasy football. Like, I like it. It's fun. One thing that I like about fantasy sports is it keeps me updated on like sports enough. I don't have to be this fucking like genius about sports, but like when people talk about sports in a normal setting, when you're out in the world, it's good to know a little bit about it, instead of just being like, I don't watch sports, a little bit, and it helps you along. So I think it's like worth the investment of $150 a year to play fantasy football with my friends. I rarely win. I've been playing it for like since 2008 or something like that with like my crew, I've won one time. But for the most part, I just like gain some knowledge about some shit. So when an Uber driver talks about like, how about them Rams? I'm like, yeah, this like fucking asshole did pretty good the other day. It's pretty good.
If you win, what's the football movie we would watch?
Oh, interesting.
Why is it Rudy? So.
That's a great question. Okay, yeah, Rudy, but also Lucas. Isn't Lucas a football movie as well?
Yeah, nice. Some young Charlie Sheen.
There's a lot, actually, dude. There's a lot of football.
A little Oliver Stone any given Sunday.
Yeah. Hooah! We got a little Pacino going on in there. Anyway, there's so much to talk about, because I also heard there was a new like Johnny Depp film out with Al Pacino in it. Like, when did that happen?
A new movie with the two of them?
Like I think Depp directed it and Pacino's in it.
Well, that sounds like the best kind of chaos that I'm here for. So,
Well, anyway, like I said, we can go on forever. Let's call it. But do yourself a favor and look it up and see if it's out there.
we'll do. We'll report back. We'll report back on Zeven. If you love ska, awesome. Nobody's shitting on ska, just for the record. And yeah, talk back when Avatar comes out in a little bit.
We're gonna have a couple episodes, I think, before Avatar comes out. So yeah,
Only one, maybe two. You're right.
exactly.
Building the anticipation. So
All right,
three hours and 15 minutes. That's the runtime, just FYI for it. So, and Cameron had a baller quote. He said, don't worry about taking a bathroom break at any time. You just see that scene when you come back and see it for the second time.
Oh, fucking!
It's the most Cameron quote that you're going to fucking have. So,
Well, I'll tell you, like Frankenstein, I think is like over 2 hours. It's like two and a half or something like that. So that's why I knew like either way I wasn't going to see it in one sitting the other night. So I was okay with like cutting it at the 45-minute mark. I would say to you, if you have access to a Netflix account, like maybe check it out. It's so far I'm liking it.
fuck yeah. I was Del Toro. I'll do a Frankenstein Blade 2 double feature, no doubt.
All right. Well, I'll see you in 2 weeks when we discover what the fuck you're going to bring to the table next.
It's going to be wild.
Can't wait.
All right. I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right. See you later, man. Bye.